Hello out to all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear listening into another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. And I do apologize for all the additional background noise. But having seen that Phil Spencer recently came out and said that Xbox doesn't want to make massive single-player games or single-player blockbuster experiences like Sony, they don't want to copy that motif. I figured I could do a quick discussion explaining why. Now, while I will say in the long run, if they did copy this particular thing from Sony, it would actually benefit them. Because, I mean, it's not like that Halo isn't going to have a single-player campaign, but it's like every game that Microsoft puts out has to have a multiplayer component, which lends back to during the 7th gen, where everything on Xbox 360 and PS3 had to have a multiplayer component, even if the game really didn't need it. And that was a problem, because that was development resources and time that went into quite often half-assed multiplayer modes. And some companies got the memo and said, okay, you know what, we're not going to keep putting multiplayer in all our games, we're going to take it out. Then others said, nah, we're just going to throw multiplayer in everything, even if it doesn't need it. And several switched their focus. Now, to be honest, Microsoft has recently purchased the talent for it, and they have had the IPs for a long period of time, whether they realize it or not, for single-player blockbuster type games. They've had all the tools for it. They just don't want to do it. And that's mostly down to the consumer base that Microsoft works for. And yes, I did say works for. The consumer base for Xbox loves multiplayer. And their online facet of their system is the best as far as console is concerned. Like, you can disagree with me on that, but I'm sorry. Having had experience with all three, with Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, Microsoft was overall the best. At least for me. But like, I haven't had as many drops on that network as I have had on Sony. And Nintendo, while far less than Sony, was still way more than Microsoft for me. And I think that that is the general consensus for most people. So that would be why Microsoft would rather spend their time and attention on their multiplayer rather than single player. But I definitely want to be clear in saying that they do have literally all the tools for it if they ever so chose to do it. And honestly, in the long run, that would be super lucrative for them. Well, maybe not super, but in the long run, it would work out for them, because not everybody likes multiplayer games. Not everybody cares about multiplayer games. And sometimes you just need a game that is a streamlined single-player experience that tells a good story and has a decent amount of action in it. Sometimes that's all you need in order for a game to do well. That's it. Not everything has to be multiplayer. Not everything has to be a large open world. Not everything has to be a cinematic story tale, which a lot of Sony stuff is. And that's probably another aspect Microsoft just doesn't want to copy, is that most of their games are highly cinematic, which means that there's a lot more visual manipulation through cutscenes and things than there is actual gameplay. So that's another reason they likely don't want to copy Sony's model. But if you just copy the aspect of having some really good, high-quality single-player games with the wide range of IP that Microsoft has under their belt, some that they probably don't even realize that they have, or some that they could revamp and their minds are not on it, or if they do have anyone with the creativity to do it, they're getting shouted down because higher-ups are like, well, this isn't what sells right now. This is what sells. We're doing the market research. I'd love to let you guys know that sometimes market research doesn't help you. In gaming, creativity tends to win the day. Tends to, not always, but it tends to. If you come out with something that's creative and high quality, people will flock to it. As long as you don't gouge them for it, mind you. But that's particularly it. I think that explains the comment pretty decently. I could drag on and on and on about it, but I think I definitely did a decent enough job on it. So before I go into ramble territory, I'm going to go ahead and end this here. So thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out.